Hey everybody, I'm Sam Haymartin. You're watching Growing Older Gay. This is Kitchen Table for Friday, March 7th, 2025, our first Friday of March. This year's already rolling by. And so just a quick note, we live in a big city in Phoenix, Arizona. We're right downtown. I guess it's not the biggest city in the world, but we're big enough to have a giant music festival at the park right next door to where our studio and where my home is. And so because of that, we might hear some intermittent noise coming from over there because they're doing sound checks today as we are doing our episode right here. So if you start hearing some bass beat and some rumbling, that's what's going on. And so I just want to put that out there. It keeps coming in and out. I can't help it. But speaking of festivals, the first thing I want to talk about today, I want to talk about a couple of events and a couple of fun things that are coming up on our radar screen, because in spite of all of our fight and struggle and the terrible stuff going on in the world right now, we have to continue to fight, love, live, and celebrate. We have to do stuff that enables us to really feel and celebrate who we are and what we're about. And so the Hump Film Festival, if you've not heard about it, is a film festival of 5-minute shorts that are created by amateurs for the most part, and they're sexual in nature. And this is something that Dan Savage, the podcaster, if you don't know who he is, he does a great Lovecast podcast that's about sex and lifestyle, not just LGBT, but the entire spectrum. So this film festival is something that he sort of put together and helped found that 50 different cities going on right now. Twice a year, they have a new rollout of this, but right now it's going around the country. Tickets are available. And this is just a fun thing to go experience and really celebrate. And if you like erotica and sexual themes, this is something to check out. I regret that they're not coming to Phoenix. I wish they were, but they do have streaming options as well for some of the past events. So the Hump Film Fest is, there's a link down below and you can check it out. You can get your tickets right now, and that goes through the end of spring. And then there's going to be another wave of that. Tickets go on sale in June. The Hump Film Festival. It looks like a lot of fun. I wish I could do it. And I don't know, maybe I'll try to maybe get down to Palm Springs in May or something like that. So another big event that I want to talk about is Austin Kink Weekend 2025. It's where the Mr. Texas Leather title comes from, and it's a leather contest weekend. A lot of kinksters get together, and while Texas isn't somewhere that I'm really promoting people to go and hang out, I really believe in supporting our community, and those folks down there in Austin, even though they're in Texas, they need our love, help, and support. And so if you're looking for something to do, this is an event coming up in April 17th through 20th. Barkley Barrios, a very known figure in our community, someone who I'd call an acquaintance. Graylin Thornton, also a well-known person in our community, in the leather community specifically, and Dr. Carlton from the But Honestly podcast. All of those folks are going to be there participating in that event in a number of different ways, part of a lot of the programming, things going on. It looks like a lot of fun. Again, something I wish I could do. Link down below in the information section down in Austin. That is kind of a blue bubble in Texas, believe it or not. The next thing I wanted to talk about is DEI. Now, we all know what DEI is, and it's a good thing. It's something that a lot of companies have been participating in for the past 5 to 10 years, very outwardly, very vocally. We've seen them at our pride parades going, hey, look at us. We're waving the rainbow flag, and we're a big corporation. We love you. Well, a lot of those companies have really shown their stripes here in the last year by pulling back on their DEI efforts, their support of the various communities out there, whether it be LGBT, minorities, women, etc. They've pulled DEI off of their mission statements, off of their websites, out of their employee programs. And a lot of these companies were really putting efforts out there toward their employee workforce to make sure that they felt included, that they felt empowered, and that they felt a part of the family. And it's been a good thing for a lot of companies. It's been a good thing on the PR sense as well as for the workforces. And so with the pullback, a lot of big brands out there, Harley Davidson, Jack Daniels, Walmart, Target is in the news lately, especially. They've been getting a lot of boycotts, but car companies too, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis also to a degree, but Ford was the company that really pulled back on their efforts and made a big move there. Even in a PR sense, they announced it like it was a good thing. And I just wanted to point out that there are a couple brands out there. If you're looking for a new car and you want to buy from a company that gives a shit, you can look at Hyundai. They just made some news this last week that they are continuing to stick and stay in their DEI programs, not only internally with their employees and in their company, but in their advertising, in their marketing. And Eric Thomas, who's the director of experimental and multicultural marketing at Hyundai, told Digiday recently that multicultural audiences represent an estimated 30% of the automotive brand's sales. And sales are on the increase. Some of those other brands that pulled back on their DEI aren't doing so well right now. But Hyundai is seeing a market increase in their sales. And that's not only because of DEI, it's because they're building good cars. They're building a lot of exciting cars, both electric, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, as well as traditional gas-powered cars. But if you look at their website, if you're a person looking for a job and you look at their website, they are still pushing DEI out there as one of the benefits to working to their company. They didn't pull that off their website like a lot of other cowardly companies did because a few right-wing groups are shaming them over it. And so I just wanted to point that out. There is some good news out there relative to corporate America. As an honorable mention, Subaru and Honda are a couple of the brands that, as of this morning filming, I was also able to verify that they are still pushing forward and publicly the fact that they are honoring DEI principles in their hiring. We'll see who shows up at these pride parades this year, and that is going to be an interesting look as we go into pride come this spring and summer, what companies are going to be showing up at these things, because a lot of these big brands that used to show up front and center in our pride parades and at our festivals have pulled back on their DEI. And in some cases, like in Minneapolis, their pride this year is going to be devoid of all these corporations. They told a lot of these corporations to just F off. We don't want you because of what you've done. Pride this year is probably more than likely going to be a little bit getting back to the original concept of our pride, in that they were protests. The pride protests. We were out there protesting as opposed to celebrating. And we can do both. But I think we're going to see this year a marked change in how all that looks. We'll have to wait and see. On another topic, but similar, Human Rights Campaign, HRC, they have a corporate index on their website. And we were just talking about the different brands and corporations. You can go on there and search companies and see where they fall in their corporate citizenship relative to how HRC grades them. Do they have DEI programs? Do they have inclusiveness in how they treat their employees and so forth? Corporate responsibility. There's a searchable database there. But another thing that I want to talk about on HRC is they have a glossary of terms that are relative to our LGBTQ world. And it's helpful to know, especially if you're somebody who has a platform and you're speaking like I am, or you're in the press, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're just an older guy like me, and a lot of these new terms, you're like, what? I've never heard that before. What does that mean? This is a great resource to go and learn. I learned a few things just reading through this glossary this week myself, because as I said, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to people, the world at large, and although a small piece of it, I want to make sure that I'm speaking correctly and that I'm using the right terminology because I have respect for you. And that's really what it's about. A lot of these people over there on the right are bitching and moaning and act like pigs being tortured because they have to use pronouns, or they're expected to use pronouns, or they're being shamed for not using pronouns. It's just about having respect for other people. It's like giving a damn about other people, kind of like being woke. You know, you care. Care about somebody other than yourself and how they feel. Knowing the terminology, I just think is a cool thing to do. So check it out. There's a link down below in the information section for that. And that gets us to the last couple of things here. Woke has been in the news. We spoke about it last week. Jane Fonda said a wonderful little bit about that. By the way, it just means you give a damn about people. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. The dictionary definition is out there. You can Google it, right? But as we know, the right has been giving it a very dirty feel. They've been using it as a weapon, like it's something wrong to care about people. It's something wrong to look beyond yourself and be empathetic towards people that are having a hard time in this world. And I don't like to talk about politics too much, but at the address earlier this week, the person who's at the pulpit stated that we are no longer going to be a woke country. And out of everything that was said and everything that occurred that night, that is the one thing that stuck out at me, as it almost puts in one single sentence the entire movement of what's happening right now. Because these people did not vote for prices of eggs. Let's be honest. These people voted for, we are no longer going to be a woke country. That's what it was about for them all along, and they've proved it in the first part of this new administration. That's all they've been doing, is causing damage to wokeness. And so I just wanted to point that out, because we are a woke country. Jesus was woke. I said that last week. And I don't just say that as some gay guy going, oh, Jesus is woke. I went to a Christian school, a private school. I went to church. I did all of that growing up. If you've read about what Jesus has said, and you actually read the words, and it's in the Bible if you care to look for it, it talks about a lot of things that Jesus believed in, that were caring about the poor, the sick, the downtrodden, and taking care of those who are strangers, things like that. That's woke. Yeah, Jesus was woke. I know people are going to be angry about that. Oh my God, nobody wants to hear that, except the people that want to hear that. And that gets me to the last part here. We need to keep loving, living, smiling, and having joy. We need to keep building utopia, right? We have a fight. We have all of this stuff going on in the world right now, which is depressing, demoralizing, upsetting, challenging. We have to push back, and we're going to be doing that. But we also have to remember to save some energy, to keep having fun, to keep building our community, to keep building those things, those areas, those spaces, the things that we do that give us joy. We have to keep doing that. We have to keep proudly being who we are and showing people what we're about, because that's how we win. And that's how we win in our own lives, more importantly, right? We may or may not win very successfully the battle of the outward thing, but if we can win inside, we win, right? So keep building utopia. And that is the theme of our 10th episode of Surviving Anti-LGBT Politics this week. Keep building utopia. Don't stop moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep building. Keep doing the things that we're here for. And so this video really gets into that. It's our 10-part series, and you can see all of that right there on our playlist. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel right there and stay informed of everything we do. We're a brand new channel. We need all the support we can get. So there you go. Exploit your joy centers this week.